For centuries, India was the place to be if you wanted to get rich. It was a land of incredible wealth, and it drew people from all over the world. But by the 17th and 18th centuries, this was way more than just about trade. It had turned into a high-stakes, winner-take-all race for an entire empire. So let's dive in and see how this incredible competition all went down. Okay, so you've got 5 major European players entering the ring, all of them wanting a piece of the pie. But this wasn't a friendly competition. It was a brutal elimination game. So, how in the world did we go from 5 powerful nations down to just 2 final contenders? Well, that's the big question we're going to unpack. First things first, let's meet the players. You have to remember, at this time, the mighty Mughal Empire was starting to weaken, showing some cracks. And these European nations, they saw that as a golden opportunity, not just for business, but for something, well, something much, much bigger. So here's our starting lineup. You've got Portugal, the pioneers who got there first. Then there's the Netherlands, totally obsessed with the spice trade. You have England and France, who, started out wanting to trade, but kind of had bigger ideas from the get-go. And finally, you've got Denmark, who were really just minor players in this huge game. Each one came with a plan, but trust me, those plans were about to change, in a big way. In any big competition, someone's got to be the first to go, right? Well, in the race for India, the first major power to fall behind was actually the one that started the whole thing, Portugal. The Portuguese had a massive head start. They were the very first to set up a permanent shop, capturing Goa way, way back in 1510. They controlled all these key ports along the coast. For a while there, they were the undisputed kings of the sea. But here's the thing. Their greatest strength, their total dominance at sea, was also hiding a fatal flaw. Corruption was eating away at them from the inside. And honestly, they just couldn't keep up with the newer, faster, more aggressive ships of the Dutch and the English. In the end, that head start just wasn't enough. By the 1600s, they were getting crushed in major sea battles, beaten at their own game. And just like that, player 1 was pretty much knocked out of the main race. With Portugal pushed to the sidelines, the game changed. The fundamental question became, are you here in India just to trade, or are you here to rule? And that strategic difference, that's what separated the next players to drop out from the ones who would go all the way. So let's talk about the Dutch and the Danes. The Dutch were laser-focused on the spice trade, but their real prize was Southeast Asia, places like Indonesia. For them, India was kind of a sideshow. The Danes? They were even smaller players, with just a couple of tiny settlements. Neither of them really had that ambition for building an empire in India. And eventually, they both just cashed out their chips. But the English? Oh, the English were playing the long game. Their expansion wasn't random at all. It was incredibly strategic. They set up key bases in Surat, Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta. Think about it. They were methodically building a powerful presence on all 3 of India's major coastlines. And this, right here, is the absolute game changer. The English weren't just building trading posts, they were building forts. They weren't just hiring merchants, they were raising their own private armies. You can see their ambition shifting right before your eyes, from pure trade to outright control. And so, the field has been narrowed. The early leader is out. The niche players have folded their hands. And that leaves us with the final, epic showdown for the control of India. By the time we get to the early 1700s, the preliminary rounds were definitely over. Everyone else was just playing for second place. All eyes were now on the 2 heavyweights left in the ring, England and its biggest rival, France. So let's look at our finalists. The English are dug in, secure in their 3 major bases. The French, over in Pondicherry, basically looked at what the English were doing and said, yeah, we'll have some of that. They started to play the same game, fortifying their bases, raising troops, and getting involved in local politics. They were mirroring that English ambition, step for step. Now, what made this rivalry explode was that the central authority in India, the Mughal Empire, was crumbling. This created this huge power vacuum, and it completely changed the game. It wasn't about who could sell the most stuff anymore. It was about who would become the new supreme power in the land. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. This whole centuries-long competition, it wasn't just a bunch of little squabbles. It was a step-by-step transformation from commerce to straight-up conquest. You can pretty much boil this entire complex period of history down to these 4 steps. It's like a playbook for building an empire. Step 1, show up, looking to make a profit. Step 2, build forts to protect that profit. Step 3, use those forts and your armies to knock out your rivals. And the final step, you use that military muscle to seize political power. This is the playbook that was basically written during this era. And it all comes down to this. From 5 powerful contenders, after more than a century of scheming and fighting, only 2 were left standing. So, the board is set. The final players are in position. And the stakes, they couldn't possibly be higher. This is no longer a race for trading rights. It is a war for an entire subcontinent. The question is no longer if a European power would dominate India, but which one it was going to be.